First up is Chris Williams. Chris is the Chief Science Officer for Responsive Kinetic Systems. Chris is an Associate Professor and Director of the Biomechanics Lab at the College of Rockport in New York. Chris?
Thank you, Paul, and thank you, everybody. It's my pleasure to be here. We've had a very nice time working with OCTANE and getting to know you and your team, and so we appreciate that very much. As Paul mentioned, my name is Chris Williams. I grew up in Orange County. I spent probably too many years at Orange Coast College. I went to Auburn University, so War Eagle, right back to you. And now I'm an associate professor in the biomechanics lab at an upstate New York college called the College of Rockport. About 5 years ago, I began a program called the Power Training Program, and using the technology I'm about to show you, began to train student athletes in my college. At this point, the Power Training Program that I run has about 500 student athletes across 23 different teams. And to run the program, I lead approximately 25 or so undergraduates working as a research team in my lab. That's how I got involved. The Responsive Kinetic Systems company presents a unique technology for science and human performance designed to target training for performance, rehabilitation, and assessment. It's both a training tool and an assessment tool. We are looking to improve human performance across all demographics, of all ages, of all peoples. Our target markets include sports franchises and elite athletes, but also physical therapy and rehabilitation centers, as well as general fitness and other service-based industries, including occupational assessment and workers' compensation. The market, as you'll see, is a multi-billion-dollar market that is huge. I'll try to break it down for you in a later slide. And our competitive advantage lies in our intellectual property, the science behind the product, the science that I lead, and I think a very capable team that can bring this to market. So regardless of a goal, every individual wants to improve their performance. It could be the elite athlete like Mike Haynes. It could be the weekend warrior who's training for their next event. It could be the person who just tore their ACL and is trying to recover from that and get back to normal. Regardless of whether you want to jump higher or run faster or just get back to where you were, everybody has these types of goals. And if we can target these types of goals for everybody, then we can be successful in meeting a challenge. Unfortunately, the literature is clear that many of the conventional strategies that are used both in performance training and rehabilitative training is limited and has high rates of recidivism and re-injury rates, both on the injured leg and the non-injured leg. And so there's a lot of ambiguity about what is the best or optimal technique. Furthermore, there is very little data that's out there that can determine risk of injury and be predictive in its models. And so we aim to approach both of those with our product. Our product is known as the RK7. The RK7 is an initial product using the technology behind the company, Responsive Kinetics. As the term implies, Responsive Kinetics allows for resistance to respond to the user. And so when a user applies a force to the machine reads that force and responds with an appropriate resistive force in any pattern that we choose. So we can control speed of movement, we can control the resistance, and we can pre-program the resistance to follow any pattern based on a movement task or a movement requirement for a job or an industry. The responsive kinetics allows the user to provide a maximal muscular effort throughout a full range of motion and does so under no-load conditions. As a result, it provides not only a very safe training environment, it provides the optimal conditions for the neuromuscular system to adapt and become better. Our technology is fully programmable, and those optimal conditions are outlined in the science. The literature, which I'm intimately involved with, shows very clearly that if you can provide a maximal intensity stimulus throughout a full range of motion for every repetition of a training session, then you get increased cognitive activity in the central nervous system and the spinal cord. You get increased neural efficiency going down the nervous system. You get muscles that adapt more fast-twitch characteristics, and you get proprioceptors. These are the organs in our body that tell us about our position in space to become more responsive. As a result, those neural pathways result in increases in reaction time and decision-making speed, or I should say decreases in speed, making it faster, increases in an important component called rate of force development, increases in explosive power and strength, and increases in joint stability. Rate of force development is the target area of my research based on the use of this technology. And rate of force development is the underlying neuromuscular mechanism that drives various adaptations of reaction time, explosiveness, joint stability, and balance. So the RK7 that my company, Responsive Kinetic Systems, presents will be the most advanced technology applied, and that can improve performers in all areas of physical performance, not only the elite athlete, but also the person rehabbing or the general fitness enthusiast training for some fun competitive event. Using the RK7 technology, we create optimal conditions that allows for performers to reach their training and rehabilitation goals much faster in a safe environment and much more effectively than existing strategies. Our market opportunity involves the elite sports performance training market, which we will target initially. In fact, we already have pre-production models in this market. I consulted with the Sacramento Kings, who have one of our pre-production units. Tuesday I was down at the San Diego, the Chula Vista Olympic Training Center with the track and field team, who's using our pre-production units, so I consulted them. It includes also individual athletes who may want to purchase one of these machines as well. Many, over 1,200 NCAA schools, and the high school programs and semi-pro teams, and even individual athletes, and an entire European market, which is likely to be more receptive to this type of technology. In addition to the elite sports performance training market, we also will be targeting physical and neuromuscular rehabilitation. Comparatively speaking, that is a much, much bigger market. One of the primary uses of this technology is to create optimal and safe training conditions for someone to rehabilitate from injury. The anterior cruciate ligament injury, ACL, is one of the most clear and obvious examples of how this type of technology can help to enhance and increase recovery from this injury in a comprehensive way where the neuromuscular system is working most efficiently. The general fitness industry is another targeted market, and as a service industry that we intend to develop within the scope of our 5-year plan, we plan to get into a functional capacity evaluation component where we can begin to do assessments and even training for workers' compensation, occupational assessments, and we have established colleagues and networks in each of these markets today. The technology is based on a hydraulic resistance system seen in the bottom picture that relies on components that are very high-end, including a stepper motor that controls hydraulic fluid that's used in an F-16 plane. The force that is applied to the machine is measured by a load cell, which is in the upper picture. The load cell then sends information at a rate of 16,000 samples per second to the computer. Every 10 of those samples determines instructions sent back to the hydraulic system. The stepper motor changes the flow of hydraulic fluid, and therefore the resistance is changed. In this way, the resistance can change with the performer and do so in a very fluid, smooth way that adapts to the user, hence the term responsive kinetics. Although there are other hydraulic systems that have been in existence, this is the only type of technology that responds to the user and adapts to the user. So not only can we assess where the user is, but we can then adapt to the user no matter who they are, either the athlete, the Mike Haynes, or the older person recovering from a hip injury. It doesn't matter because the resistance responds to you, and that's the heart of the technology. The seamless hardware and software platform is the primary focus of our initial funding. This technology concept has been around for at least 30, 35 years. However, nobody has actually done anything with it since the early 90s. So our goal is to create a seamless hardware software platform, which is the basis of our intellectual property. This will allow for continuous, smooth, and responsive resistance, which is the art of the science, to get the hydraulic system to respond cleanly with the user. Our software will include a number of automated processes, a user-friendly interface, a 3-click technology type of interface where a user can input simple information about themselves and their goals and get pre-produced training protocols targeted for that goals based on principles of strength and conditioning. Then the machine will diagnose where they are, set up a protocol based on proper intensities, and evolve with them over time. That's available for all markets, not just athletes, but also physical therapy. We will have research quality data and have the ability to do all of the data management completely automated. Our competitive landscape is fairly narrow, and we're the only company with the ability to do all of the elements of training using this technology. Our go-to-market strategy is basically a top-down strategy. He's trying to incorporate elite sports as the model and then filtering down to larger and larger groups. Our P&L, or our financial plan, is robust. It puts us at a cash flow positive in the 10th month of the first year, break-even point at the 4th month of the second year, with a 5-year after expenses revenue of about $105 million. We're asking for $2 million, with $800,000 on the first day, and 6 months later, after our software has been developed and our new model is out, the RK7, with the remaining balance. We have an established and talented management team, including our CEO and president, both with experience starting up companies with this technology. I'm the chief science officer, and we have an entire team in place, including a CFO, our sales officer, a West Coast salesperson, a director of manufacturing, a board of directors, including David Barzilai, who owns the American Data Systems, which is our software partner, Walter Theus, which is up in LA with the Vert machine, and a strong advisory board, including headlined by Al Joyner and Craig Poole, who I spoke with and met just Tuesday of this week. This technology has existed, but we're going to bring it into a commercially viable product since it hasn't been updated for over 20 years. The principals in this company have invested over $2 million to create 80 pre-production models that are out there in the field now. Our software programming partner is ADS, a very capable company with over 130 full-time employees. And our hardware manufacturing is Kaiser up here in Fresno, which is probably the preeminent exercise equipment manufacturing company in the world. We have an experienced management team, a sound business model, and current customers that will allow us for a proof of concept, including the United States Track and Field Team, the Sacramento Kings, the Russian Ministry of Sport, and a local Dune City Performance Center. So, hopefully I've impressed upon you that we do have a proven concept, we have a quality team, we have a sound business model. I can provide our business plan performance if anybody would like to talk to me about that any further. And I thank you very much for your time. I will be around this whole week, so I'll be happy to talk to you later today or anytime the next week. Thank you.